Want to hear a more diverse perspective on art? Tune in to Speaking of Art, the official podcast of Sharjah Art Foundation, featuring conversations with some of the most prominent artists and curators from Asia, Africa, and around the world. Listen to Speaking of Art wherever you get your podcasts. Want to hear a more diverse perspective on art? Tune in to Speaking of Art, the official podcast of Sharjah Art Foundation, featuring conversations with some of the most prominent artists and curators from Asia, Africa, and around the world. Listen to Speaking of Art wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Bederin FM, Pumpurugu, Glenham Radio Bato, Gaskia FM Techiman, and Radio Wawa. Get radio, TV, and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, Paramount Chief of Akyode in Nkwanta South, Nana Obombo Lupuwura, avails himself of peace talks to end the clashes.
Now that they have assured us that they are going to make security arrangement available to everybody and we'll have a responsible committee, why not? We'll show up.
We have more as life gradually returns to normal in Nkwanta's basic and senior high schools reopen for teaching and learning. We'll also hear from teachers who want curfew protocols reviewed to compensate for lost hours. Also, Belgian New Force spokesperson Shalima Bouissi chronicles human rights violations she allegedly suffered at the hands of Ghanaian authorities prior to her repatriation.
They just ignored me. They weren't listening to me. They were lying to me that they were just going to file some documentation at court.
In business.
Businesses forecast low sales for the first quarter of this year due to high taxes. We have details on the Joy Business Report.
And later, South Africa to force Israel into a ceasefire in International Court of Justice hearing later today of the genocide accusations brought before it.
The state of Israel shall immediately suspend its military operations in and against Gaza. 2. The state of Israel shall ensure that any military or influence take no steps in.
These are more coming up with me, Mami Sinyamiche Thompson. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. In our first story, the Paramount Chief of Akyode in Nkwanta South, Nana Obombo Lupuwura, has expressed his willingness to engage in peace talks aimed at resolving the clashes within the area. Contrary to previous reports suggesting his reluctance, Nana Lupuwura has made it clear that he is ready to participate in any dialogue aimed at fostering harmony among feuding factions. Emphasizing the importance of ensuring his security, the chief underscores his commitment to finding a peaceful resolution, signaling a pivotal step forward in addressing the long-standing tensions in the area.
That they are going to make security arrangement available to everybody and we'll have a responsible committee that officially they will write to us that anytime they invite you before this committee, know that it is recognized by the state and the regional coordinating council. Why not? We'll show up. And in every war situation, nobody is a winner. If you think you're a winner, then you are lying. Everybody has received his share. So we should stop. What is going on will not help us. So I'm calling on everybody, those sponsors from outside, those sponsors in the country, those sponsors in Nkwanta who think they are going to benefit out of this war, it must end.
Meanwhile, life is gradually returning to normal in Nkwanta. Joy News' Peter Senu has more on this report.
As of about 7:45 a.m. at the Roman Catholic Junior High School, almost all teachers were present for academic work, with some students already seated in their classrooms ready to study. Mary is one of the teachers.
Yesterday it was encouraging us. Today is much better, and so we are expecting more students to come back.
At Nkwanta Senior High School, not many students had reported for academic work. Only 10 of these first years were in queue for admissions when we visited. Patrick Agbobli is the senior house parent from Nkwanta Senior High School.
They are coming, except that the number is still low. By the close of yesterday, we recorded 292 students, the total, including the first years.
At Chabobo Girls Senior High School, the head girl for the school, Miracle Ntiamwa, is appealing to her colleagues to return to school.
Nobody is being shot, nobody is being hurt. Security personnel are around protecting us to make sure that our safety is paramount.
Peter Senu with that report. Now, Belgian woman who was seen in a New Force video, Shalima Boisi, has detailed the surreal injustice she endured during her recent arrest, detention, and subsequent repatriation. The Immigration Service last month revoked her stay permit and deported her after the state dropped the charges proffered against her. In an exclusive interview with Raymond Akwa on Upfront, Shalima described the inhuman treatment she suffered at the hands of both immigration and NIB officers.
They just ignored me. They weren't listening to me. They were lying to me that they were just going to file some documentation at court. And eventually they wanted to put me on the stand, take my plea, and, potentially let me incriminate myself. I had a counsel, I had a lawyer, and they refused to give me access to him. They refused to call him. They refused to let him know where I was at that point.
And was this conduct by immigration officials or officials at the NIB?
They were working together.
Well, Shalima has also been dismissing claims she interfered in Ghana's politics.
Is I don't think a spokesperson is a political person. I am delivering a message. I am reporting on behalf. I am not a politician. I don't see myself as a politician. And I was actually surprised that me being the spokesperson, that I was being mistaken as a politician all of a sudden. I never said anything like I want to be part of the government or anything that points to me being a political person. There was never anything said like that. All I did was deliver a message.
Well, when asked whether she had intentions of ever returning to Ghana, this is what she said.
I have not given up on Ghana. I feel like my work is not done yet. Like I said, I felt really inspired by everything that I've seen and I've been through. I still have a lot of love for Ghana. I've been staying there for some years, It's still a place that I hold very dear to my heart. And, I'm sure I'll be back eventually.
Well, the recent power crisis has been dealt with. That's the assurance from the Deputy Energy Minister, Andrew Ejapa-Mensah. He blamed the situation on delayed payments to power suppliers. Well, despite the assurance, businesses across the country say they are grappling with the effects of intermittent power supply, causing disruptions in both homes and workplaces. But the Deputy Minister says there are no shortfalls in power generations and consumers should expect stable power supply.
Against the power cuts, it's affecting us. They should work on it for us.
We can now hear from Deputy Energy Minister Ejapa-Mensah.
Against the power cuts, it's affecting us. They should work on it for us.
The information that I have from the SCC, that's the System Control Center, there shouldn't be doom job tonight because the gas issue has been resolved. And the point that I really wanted to make was if we say that Doomsaw is an event and that anytime that it takes place one day is Doomsaw, then we all have a working definition of what Doomsaw is. However, if it is protracted, it spans weeks and months and years, and that's what constitutes Doomsaw. To make someone say Doomsaw is back, then we can also have a conversation whether the event of 2 nights ago constitutes Doomsaw is back, or that a protracted 2012-2016 event that we encountered is what really amounts to Doomsaw.
Deputy Energy Minister Andrew Ejapa-Mensah there. Now, the Ghana Nurses and Midwifery Trainees Association is demanding that allowances paid to them be made a government policy instead of a political campaign promise. President of the association, Edum Binsa Pascal, speaking at their 31st Annual Delegates Conference in Accra, indicated that the allowances eases the burdens on trainee nurses.
Allowances should be made as a government policy instead of a campaign policy. We must advocate for trainee nurse and midwife allowance to be enshrined in the government policy of this particular country, that no political party can alter it. It's become a government policy that any government that comes to power is to be obligatory for them to do the needful and not to suggest or make reference to other parties of which have not done diligence in the matter. Guaranteeing timely and consistent payment of the trainee nurses and midwives will also be actively to support and augment our trainee nurses and midwives in their studies.
Well, South Africa will try to push for Israel to cease fire in a hearing at the International Court of Justice over genocide accusations brought before it later today. In an 80-page writ to the court, South Africa said the acts and omissions by Israel are genocidal in character, committed with a specific intent to destroy Palestinians in Gaza. The case could take years, But South Africa is asking the court to order Israel to immediately halt its military operations in Gaza. Now, lawyers Tembeka Nguchi and Von Low and Adila Hassim represent South Africa.
This is an impossible situation for the people of Gaza and for those trying to help them. The fighting must stop. Close quote.
The mass displacement of the population of Gaza, headed into areas where they continue to be killed, and the deliberate creation of conditions that, quote, lead to a slow death, unquote.
And that's how we end the bulletin. In our top story, Paramount Chief of Akyode in Nkwanta South, Obombo Swura Lupuwura avails himself for peace talks to end the clashes in the area. I am Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Business is next on the Super Morning Show.
It's the Clash of Titans. The Total Energies are...
Want to hear a more diverse perspective on art? Tune in to Speaking of Art, the official podcast of Sharjah Art Foundation, featuring conversations with some of the most prominent artists and curators from Asia, Africa, and around the world. Listen to Speaking of Art wherever you get your podcasts.